We've come to the end, to the finale of Relife with chapter 222, entitled Restart Relife. Honestly, I thought it was a really simple ending, and I thought it was really good. Like, it wasn't a huge, like, big finale or big reveal or whatever, but just the story starting over again. The same process, experiment starting over again, but now we have Keisuke, the one who is going to be the support role instead of the one receiving support. And it's cool to see. Like I said, it wasn't a huge ending or anything big surprises. It was just very subtle, very personal ending, and I really did like it. So let's go over about what happened in this final chapter. So we have Keisuke, who is walking over to the experiment number, or subject number 5's house, and you see the panels. He's talking about, he lives with his brother and with his father, and then it fixes the hole that I talked about last week, where I didn't know how it would work with him living with the father and brother, but they said if he does accept this, and he has to move out and basically cut ties with his family for a year. And I totally forgot that happened in the first one, with Keisuke anyway, so that's how it would work. And big surprise, he goes to Oga's house to go talk to his brother. Now, this is where we first find out the name of Kazuomi's brother. And let me see here. I just had it right now. What is his name? It's Takumi. So his name's Takumi. And what's cool here is you see Oga or my mind's going blank here really bad. So you see Kazuomi open the door, and you see Rena come downstairs shortly after. Basically, he's surprised to see them, and he's really happy, and it kind of takes the effect to where they don't recognize him at all. They see him, they're like, oh, who's this guy? And Keisuke tries to play it off as he's being Takumi's friend, and Kazuomi is just like, oh, my brother doesn't have any friends. He's very, very rude, and he's like, that's not nice to say about your brother. But he gets to tease Kazuomi back when Rena comes down, and he's like, oh, is this your girlfriend? Kazuomi's like, I didn't know my first name, and he keeps saying the same thing, like, oh, I learned it from your brother. And one of the things he says, please don't mind me and enjoy yourselves. And they're like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by enjoy ourselves? And so they kind of start fighting a little bit, and Rena's like, who's this suspicious guy that you let inside the house? And he's like, he feels very familiar, very comfortable having this guy there, meaning Keisuke. So, it goes to say that even though they don't remember his face, they do remember the experiences that they had. And so that's comforting to see. Like, maybe later on they might be able to recognize him, or they might tell him something about it. I don't really know. Like, all it says is that they can't tell about Relife during Relife, but after, I'm pretty sure they could, but it doesn't specify really. And then we get to the part where Keisuke actually goes and talks to Takumi, and here he does his little spiel that the what's his name, Yoake? Yeah, Yoake did to him before in the beginning of the manga, kind of explaining what Relife is, and basically, but Takumi is a little bit smarter. Like, he has a little bit more probing questions, but Keisuke is good. He like kind of puts his own testimony of Relife in persuading Takumi to take it. Like, he doesn't specifically say that he did Relife, but he just like one of the things he says, he just kind of gives him questions like, do you have regrets sometimes? This is just directly from the panel. It says, why don't you take this chance to put in a little effort and see for yourself? It says, whether the Relife program becomes useful to the subject is entirely up to them. But there is one thing I can promise you. The program is a unique experience you will never find elsewhere. And then he asks, will you do the Relife experiment? And the next thing it shows is his first entry log, showing that he gave him the information. He didn't refuse, but that he believes that he's gonna take it. And so finishes it ends that part, and then it goes to the finale part, which is in Kaizaki's apartment, where it's him, it's Hishido, it's Onoya and Yoake finally having a drink together, but all in his apartment, which he's not too fond of. And they're like, why are you over here? And they're like, no, this is our, and they keep telling me, this is our first time, that we can get together and actually have a drink in their real forms, because after this, if Takumi takes the Relife pill, which he most likely will, then we're gonna have Kaizaki go back to high school in that form, so they won't be able to get together like in their adult forms until much later. And so it really ends, like I said, in not a huge climactic way, but they just they do a cheer to the start of their fresh new lives, and it just kind of ends with all the reports are written and just a little drawing of the four of them. And it was, like I said, it wasn't really huge ending. They didn't really, they kind of implied that Kaizaki and Hishido are gonna get married. Everyone else that was in the real life in the high school with them looked like they're doing well. They didn't need help from them. There wasn't much closure that needed to be done, because I feel like if they gave closure to everyone in this particular manga, it wouldn't benefit it. I think I really like it being open-ended this way, knowing that there's so many stuff that could happen to them, and knowing that Kaizaki is starting the cycle again, but instead of him being the one that is being offered real life, he's the one that's offering. And it was really good. Overall, this series had a lot of ups and then a lot of slow parts that, for me personally, I had to push through to read, just simply because I wasn't interested in some of the side character stories, which kind of ruined some of the latter parts of the manga. But because I really just wanted to focus on Hishido and Kaizaki. But overall, it was a great series. Pretty good. Let's go. It's not great. It's pretty good. Overall, I'd give it about a 7.5 out of 10. The whole series. The ending chapter, maybe a 7. Like I said, it wasn't something like huge, revolutionary, or revelations, told to us, but it was just very subtle, very kind of the way real life mostly was. It wasn't a lot of drama in there. They were just kind of dealing with everyday life, so I think it was appropriate the way that they ended it, just open-ended, subtle, and that life keeps on going. And I thought that was a good move on them. I'm sad to have it end, but all good things must come to an end, and now it's time to start new things to read or new things to watch. So if you have any suggestions, just let me know. I'll go ahead and keep reviewing other mangas. And if you have one you want me to review, just let me know. And that is everything for today. This is David the Smash Fan from Chibi no Podcast. I'm out.